Okay, so first, I really found that the idea of this meetup is so wonderful. Thank you for organizing this. And as sharing professional experiences really help actual students to identify their professional interests and also to make the knowledge they will either are gaining at actually at the university actionable. So I would be glad later to answer all of your questions. So this is the outline for today's meetup. First, I will tell you about my educational background, my professional positions, as well as some of my interests. Then we will look at the must-have skills, how I got this job, and what are the, let me say, the requirements and the challenges of this job. In addition, I will walk through how to prepare a data science interview and what kind of questions you would be asked about. And in the last section, that would be about, I would be happy to share with you some useful resources that I think they are very useful for the knowledge you will gain, and maybe that may help you really to master your data science in a job later. Okay, so basically, as I'm an engineer in statistics and data analysis, graduated in 2018 from SAE. So it's a French abbreviation of and stands for the Higher School of Statistics and Data Analysis in Tunis. During my academic studies, so SAE provides us an education which is based mainly on three axes. The first one is about data processing and programming. So in fact, through some courses, we gained a good knowledge about how to deal with the data technologies. The second axis is about mathematics, probabilities, and statistics. And the third one is about economics, finance. After obtaining my engineering degree, I have decided to pursue my studies by enrolling in research masters in the National School of Engineers of Tunis, ENIT. And due to this master, I got a double degree from ENIT and Paris Descartes University. So this research masters allows me to develop my ability to develop more my ability in the data science field, and especially in signal processing, video processing, and image processing. I worked as a data scientist in the banking industry with over 1 year of experience, especially in credit risk management at BIAT. I have left BIAT a few months ago, and actually I'm a business intelligence consultant at Prime Analytics. I'm still involved in a banking project, as my actual company is specialized in offering business-led solutions for financial institutions using data analytics tools. I'm also the co-founder of Allied Unit, which is the part of a global community. Allied is global, and we mainly aim to promote the use of programming language R. Finally, I want to mention that I was pleased to earn a scholarship from our studio in last January 2020, 2021, sorry. So this experience helped me a lot to expand my network, really meet amazing people worldwide, and improve my art skills. Let's now have a look at the must-have skills for the data science jobs. So throughout this section, I will mention some required skills that I will show you in the next section how I have used them. So you see. Okay. So first of all, in order to learn data science, you must reinforce your knowledge of mathematics and statistics. So mathematics is based on for example, two components mainly. So linear algebra and calculus. So linear algebra is, for example, is widely used in the image recognition or text analysis algorithm. In addition, calculus, for example, is used essentially in optimization techniques, and we need that later in our data science project. So you cannot really have a deep knowledge of machine learning without calculus. For example, you can carry out mathematical modeling of artificial neural networks and be able to increase their performance by really understanding what's behind every algorithm applied. And in addition to that, data science should have knowledge about descriptive statistics and the inferential ones. So descriptive studies, it's about summarizing your data by describing it. And the second one is, in fact, the procedure of inferring or concluding from the data by making tests. So there are languages that are used in computer programming to programs to implement algorithms and have multiple applications. There are several programming languages for data science as well. Data scientists should learn and I think and master. For me, I think at least one language, as it's really important to have a tool to realize various data science. And the main goal of the data science, I think, role is to understand the syntax of the relevant programming language, say, for example, R or Python. For example, the programming language R has really incredible packages for performing machine learning models like current and 3D models. And that may come that you will be trying to implement some mathematical concepts using the predefined functions available already in the language to obtain what you want if there is a lack of such concepts. That's why it's really important to understand the algorithm behind every function behind every algorithm. So, having also a good knowledge about math and statistics will help you as well to understand very well what's behind, as I said, every machine learning. So before its implementation. Later, okay. So the next skill requires mainly business knowledge. So, for example, you are working in a company and you are starting a new data science project with a client. As a data scientist, you should ask yourself, what does this customer really want us to accomplish? In fact, fully understanding the project means that you know what are the expectations of the client in terms of the end of the product. It's important to gather at the beginning as much information about the data science project as you can before even you start to plan the work. Here I mean, so in reality, as data science, you need to learn not only to speak many languages, so beyond R and Python, for example, and SQL, you should learn how to speak business. The better, in fact, you can understand the business environment, business objectives, and how to measure the success of the data science project in the eyes of the business, the more effective you will be for an organization. You should use your business expertise to see, for example, if the recommendation of new products to a customer make really sense. So, as a data scientist, you should also not advance the project on the analytics talent alone, but rather take the time and necessary steps to learn the business object of every. Okay. Now about communication skills. So this are the last skills. In fact, knowing how to present your insights is as important as being able to handle deriving these insights. These insights have to be presented in a form that is really clear for the various stakeholders with whom you are working. I mean, for example, you need to be able to take a data set and discover and communicate what's interesting about it for your users. Also, you should use visualization whenever it's possible. So charts, graphs, illustrations, make it easy really to display various data sets and highlight different stats and draw really attention to the most important points you are trying. Let's now review my experience at the Arab International Bank in Tunisia as data scientist. So I was mainly attached to the credit policy and portfolio management department in the head office of GAT, and which holds the largest market share in the industry for Tunisia. So there are plenty of departments. So as a data science, you might, for example, join the marketing department, the IT department, or any one of the other departments. So I joined GAT as an intern as part of my research master's. So my professional supervisor posted an internship project on LinkedIn. So simply I applied by sending my CV on the LinkedIn inbox. So my research project focuses on the development of a solution that contributes to an optical character recognition and a classification of printed paper documents. Let me explain. So, due to the amount of information available in the banking sector, the operations of manual text entry, document classification are really influenced by a set of problems. Because the ambition of this work was to apply several techniques of text processing and text recognition in order to achieve a classification of a really important number of standard documents. So my research projects focused on two main areas, so computer vision and NLP. So before the end of my internship period, my supervisor asked me if I'm interested in joining the bank. And to be honest, I always had thought that starting a career in the bank might limit my ability to learn. In fact, during my academic studies, I never would have thought that I would be there. However, given that I had the opportunity to work with my professional supervisor about my internship project, so I had therefore the opportunity to familiarize myself well with the credit department and the subject that I had been offered to me at this time really correspond perfectly to the academic training that I had. As a result, I strongly advise you to seize every opportunity that may be present to you. So, since now, yes, why not be looking for a list of companies, for example, that are specialized in the data science field in Tunisia. be following them on their social media accounts to be updated about the kind of their work that they will be sharing. In addition, for example, don't hesitate to have exchange with them, with people, for example, who work in this kind of company on LinkedIn, for example, and make a lot of effort since now to find really a good internship. And from the start of your internship interviews, ask for things to be clear to you. Try, for example, to understand the stakes of the proposed internship project so that everything is clear till the beginning. So personally, I was able to have an idea about the environment in which I've been working on as data science, as and it's important to have an idea in that. So take your time to identify really the right role for yourself. So the working environment at a bank is usually very professional. So a bank is a huge organization. So its department relies heavily on data, and it requires professionals that can work with data. However, it's not that easy to start a new data science project in the department. It's because of the nature of the business in banks. So I think the way their business model is designed limits really the fast improvement of their product. It's not always that the bank sector will see recruit and hire data scientists. There should be really a feeling of real need to launch a data science project and work on new data case. Let me now tell you about my work experience or project. I had the chance to work on some interesting projects. So the first one was about the validation of the internal rating system of companies. So the term rating system comprises all of the methods, processes, controls, data collection, and IT systems that support the assessment of credit risk, the assessment of risk ratings, and the qualification of default and the loss estimate according to the clients of this bank. So real world data is always disordered, and that are this is what we have. I had during. This is not what I had during my academic studies. And since I had not a knowledge of the finance industry, I had to understand. I needed the time to understand the background and the context of the financial data available to me, and to use the data that are much used to me. So this increased later the quality and the quality of my work because I knew exactly from the beginning what they want to in the project. So I determined whether I need, for example, to standardize the data. So this is an important step in building machine learning algorithms, variables that have different scales. It's always the case. So then I performed the data analysis and predictive analytics using Oracle SQL, Python, and Python as so at the end, I was communicating the results by reporting and slide decking. So reports are generated, documented results. Slide decks are created to present to management. And once management provides the go-ahead, so apps are developing to implement decision-making systems. So this is the workflow of development. So, and why I was working on academic data science project. For example, they have never talked to us about business value and how much it's very important to communicate the results to make such business value that could benefit the organization itself. And finally, I'm so proud of this experience, and I have a chance to have been working with the talented people from who I have learned a lot. So throughout this section, I suggest to you some of the questions that you need to be prepared for before having a data science interview. So for basic questions, for example, they may ask you about simply what is the science, what's the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning, simply what's a confusion matrix. For statistics questions, uh, they can ask you maybe about data types, what's, for example, the difference between long and wide format data, what do you understand by the term normal distribution, you see. So, and about data analysis questions, you may ask about Python or, for example, about Python and R, which one you prefer for text analysis, questions like that. And lately, for example, for machine learning questions about the techniques of machine learning, what are, for example, the various classification algorithms. So I provide here a link. You may access this link later, and we found a great article about questions. So at the next section, it will be about sharing some useful results. So, one of the best resources, I think, is educational books. So here I'm sharing with you a list of the three data science books. They are reality tests that may inspire you and show you the power of this field. So the first one, for learning with application in R. So for me, it's the best introductory book to machine learning theory. It covers a good introduction to the math and also has really wonderful practice material in the programming language R. The second book is Understanding Machine Learning from Theory to Algorithm. So the first goal of this book was to provide a really good and yet easy to follow introduction to the main concept underlying machine learning. So what's the learning? How can a machine, for example, learn? All of that is covered in the book. For example, so how do you quantify the resources needed to learn this concept? So, and the last book is about data science for business. So I think it's for you. So what you need to know about the data mining and the data analytic thinking. This book is with the focus on data science concepts as applied to practical business problems. So it covers really real world, wonderful real world example outlining the familiar accessible problems in the business world. For example, like customer churn, targeted marketing, etc. Secondly, I highly encourage you to be listening to podcasts about data science. So I recommend the Super Data Science platform. By joining this platform, we will have the good opportunity to learn the essence of the data science field with plenty of podcasts. In fact, we will get the chance to listen to data science experts and learn from their views, perspectives. The second one I mentioned here is the Get Your Artificial Intelligence On. It's always a nice platform. They are hosting great experts in the data science field, and you may learn a lot from them by following their interviews. So all these links are shared on this slide. I will be sharing later the link so you are able to see them. The third part, it's about competition. So I think all of you know Kaggle, but let me just define it again. So Kaggle is the most platform for data science competitions, and it had huge growth in the last year. Really, I think you can grow your data science skills by competing in various and really wonderful competitions. And they allow you to learn the best practices in data science while also understanding problem solving skills and brainstorming, in fact, with lots of people to solve a challenge. Zendi is a data science competition platform also, and with the mission of building the data science ecosystem but in Africa, mainly. Iron Viz, it's for database, so it's a data visualization competition that is hosted by Tableau. So Tableau is a software for database, and it allows the data science from all over the world to compete with each other. And the idea of this is creating the best data base that is beautiful as well as informative. The last one is competition. It's about Tidy Tuesday, so which is a weekly data project in R from the R for Data Science online learning community. And every week they post a raw data set, a chart or article related to that data set, and ask the people to explore the data. So while the data will be tamed most of the times, it will not always be tidy. So as such, you might need to apply various for data science techniques to arrange the data in a true tidy form. So mainly the goal of Tidy Tuesday is to apply your R skills, get feedback, explore others' work, and connect for sure with the greater R for our that community. So I will be listing now some of the best courses for me that I think you should take to expand your knowledge. So beyond what you are thinking in at your university. For example, Coursera provides one of the wonderful online data science educations. So through Johns Hopkins University, this course, and it's not. It's not. In fact, it's not a free course, but you can audit the course. Although we won't receive the certificate after the completion of the course, so you can, for example, choose to apply for financial aid. So it's about a firm you need to indicate that you are from Tunisia. You are not really able to pay for that. Maybe if there is still time later, I will show you how to do that on Coursera, so you are able to have this course for free. And IBM also provides a number of great free online courses through its platform. Uh, okay, so last it's about networking. So in fact, the key to business and really a successful job had is building strong relationships over time with people. I mean, good networking skills is, for example, about gaining new contacts, new good contacts on LinkedIn. So networking is developing relationships over time. So that will be beneficial for you, and so maybe able to aid you in a job hand later or business in the future. So in fact, I highly encourage you for example, prioritize your efforts to develop strong long-term relationships with important connections. In addition, also beyond LinkedIn, Twitter can be really really helpful way to find interesting articles and opportunities. So it will take maybe some time to figure out who to follow. But when I look at data scientists at the companies that interest you, look for example, look at the authors of libraries and tools that you are using R or Python, and for example, when you find a tutorial or a blog post in Twitter, you may like it and retweet it. So if you are, for example, unsure what or how to tweet, it can be later helpful to think of Twitter as a way to save links that you like, and so you can review that later. I do that, for example, I try to tweet any article or tutorial that I think I may want to reference back to in a few moments later. Okay, thank you all for your attention.